Hello my beautiful badgers, Messy Coder back again with another live dev interview, this time with Carlos Wilkes, and we chatted for over 4 hours on all the w's.twitch.tv/themessycoder. So I'm uploading it into 3 different videos on YouTube, one about the Space Graphics Toolkit, another about Destructible 2D, and this video is an intro where we talk about all of his assets as well as playing about with Paint in 3D. That's why it does exactly what it says on the tin. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you all in a second. Everybody who's sitting at home in front of your Amazon mirrors, your Google Watches, your Alexas, your microwave PCs, give a warm and messy welcome to Carlos Wilkes, asset creator extraordinaire, master of the space, creator of paintings in 3D, and you can lean on him when you want to touch his mobile. Welcome to the stream, Carlos.
Hello everyone. My name is Carlos, and I'm from England. Well, and I'm an alcoholic. Yes, and it's been 3 days since I've stopped, and hoping to make this year. This is going to be the year.
Well, have you been completely sober in 2021?
Yes, and the whole of my life actually. But
there you go.
Yes.
You've done a good job of it so far.
Yeah, so far.
So as you said, you're an Englishman, not necessarily in New York, but in Japan.
Yeah, in Japan.
Who's called Carlos.
Yes. So, my parents wanted me to have a name that is unique, but everybody knows, and everybody kind of knows the name Carlos, but nobody has it in England, at least. So they picked that name for me. Of course, it's kind of tricky in Japan because nobody can pronounce it properly. But
well, I'm not even going to try and imitate because I'll get shut down on terms of service. So I won't even
in Japanese it's pronounced as Karurosu.
Oh, there you go.
So it's...
Did they used to call you Charlie growing up?
No, everyone called me Carlos or Carl, I guess. But even though that's a completely different name, but yeah.
Well, I think Carl was not completely separate from Carlos, is it?
I have no idea. I think they're different. Maybe I should look that up.
You should look it up, because for years you've been shouting at people, "That's not my name," and they go, "It kind of is." Okay, but I was really confused because I was like, I think I even emailed you going, "Hola." Hola, Carlos.
Oh yeah, some people do. Occasionally I get like emails in like Spanish or Portuguese, and then I have to run it through Google Translate, and then I'm replying in English.
and you're in, so I've interviewed last month someone from Japan who actually worked on the Metal Gear Solid and Deep. What's it called? What was that?
What?
That was that Rising game, the Deep Rising.
Rising Deep.
The Rising Deep. What's that?
What it's called? I don't know. I've never played it.
Everyone in chat, what's that game called that I purchased for my wife and she hasn't played yet because obviously after buying all of those games and a Quest, my wife just went back to playing World of Warcraft. Death Stranding. That's the one, Robocop.
It's completely different.
It's a completely different game, but nevertheless, it sounds a bit similar. Yeah. So, are you working for one of these massive Japanese game developers over there?
Unfortunately, no. I'm working from home in my pajamas. I have no cool insight into the Japanese game development industry.
I think it's even better. What better way to work than sitting there in your pajamas?
You don't know that.
Do you get out of your
completely
pajamas?
naked. Occasionally, if I have to go out, it helps to change. But if I don't have to go out, sometimes I just wear my pajamas and then I get changed into new pajamas. So.
So you're a full-time asset developer?
Yes, this is my main source of income.
But Japan's really expensive.
It's not actually. Everybody thinks it's expensive because maybe 20, 30 years ago, they had the technology boom, I guess, when like Sony and Toshiba were selling, I don't know, like lots of electronics to everywhere and making lots of cool cars, and everybody here was rich, and then everything was super expensive, and everybody coming here from the West was they had to like get really bad exchange rates, and then I don't know, the pound and the dollars weren't worth very much in Japan, so everyone's like, wow, it's so expensive here, like £50 for sushi, what's going on, or something. But that was 30 years ago, right? And the prices haven't changed since then. Whereas in the West, everything's increased from inflation and stuff. So
wow.
at least now, it's pretty cheap to live here compared to like England or America or Australia.
So you're telling me that
Mhm.
you're able to sustain living in Japan being an asset store publisher?
No, I'm completely homeless, but I'm saying you could do that. No, I do pretty well.
I'm moving to Japan. That's it.
Yeah, you should. The only
Because-
problem is you have to speak Japanese.
Or can I do it in a bad Japanese accent?
Well, you may get punched if you deliberately do a Japanese accent, but if you do a British accent speaking bad Japanese, that's okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll try that one. I was told that you're not allowed to eat in public in Japan. That's like really frowned upon. If you got like a takeaway, you don't stand in the street eating, or you don't eat on the underground, or on the what do they call it, the bullet trains.
The train.
Yeah.
You can eat in public, there's no problem, but if you're on a train or something, you probably wouldn't. Everyone would think you're weird. You're supposed to just sit there and enjoy the ride.
It's like life, isn't it? You're supposed to sit back and enjoy the ride in life. And when you're with your assets, I sit back and I enjoy watching the videos.
Oh yeah.
Especially
You're not allowed to eat while watching
You're
these
not
videos.
allowed to eat. Well, if you do, you make sure you wash your hands. My kids
Yeah, exactly.
were really excited by your space graphics toolkit video.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they were like, "Daddy, it's got planets." I go, "Yeah." And my youngest goes, "We can make Planet Smash." I was like, "What's Planet Smash?" But the planets.
Well, that requires some extra programming. Actually, there's no planet smashing in this.
So there's no physics. So are these backgrounds or are these physical
Well,
planets?
no. There's Newtonian physics, but if the planets collide, there's nothing happening. There's no like explosion effects or anything like that.
Oh yeah, but I could just take a particle effect on that, or I could kick them into ray fire and have them break, which leads onto you got your own equivalent of ray fire, which is was it called Destructible 2D?
Yeah, you butchered the name. Is that because the title length has been reached? You called it Destroyed 2D in the title.
Oh, did I?
It's Destructible
It's
2D.
Destructible 2D. I did butcher it, didn't I? I did butcher it. Shall I fix that? I'll fix that right now. And I always butcher things.
So yeah, I guess that's something like Rayfire, not quite as fancy, I guess.
Are you going to do a 3D version?
I was planning to, and then I saw the Rayfire plugin, and I'm like, let's not bother with that.
That's the problem though with the asset store, isn't it? Because there's so many thousands upon thousands of assets out there.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself scrolling through and say, what doesn't exist? I'll make something.
Oh, of course, that's the first step, basically. Well,
here we go.
actually,
we're going
not
to
necessarily.
learn it now because everyone asks me, what shall I do when I'm making an asset? What shall I do? And I'm like, I don't know. Make whatever you enjoy doing if you're going to use it. But here we go. We're going to learn what the tricks of being an actual full-time asset developer is. So the first, you actually doing your market research of finding gaps in the market.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. Firstly, I look at like games, current games, like what's popular, and then I basically write down a list of what features I'm seeing. So, for example, Star Citizen is pretty popular, and they have like fancy planets. So I put that on my list, like fancy planets, and then maybe I see a game with some destructible 2D stuff, so I write that down, and then eventually have a list of maybe 10 different ideas, and then I basically remove the ones that are too difficult for me based on my skill level.
I like
For
that.
example, like a 3D destruction, for example, the math for that is very complicated. So while I could do some of it, if I look at Rayfire, that's just way too advanced. I can't possibly compete with that, so I would remove that from the list. So with that remaining list, I look at what's on the Unity asset store. So if there's already a really good asset that does one of these features, then I basically give up. But if there's an asset that does something similar, but it doesn't look very good, for example, like the screenshots aren't very good, or the implementation looks bad, or the reviews make it sound like it's lacking something, or something like that, I think I can basically beat them, then it's still on the table. And then I look at how much I think people would pay for it, and if that amount is basically worth my time relative to how complicated it is. And eventually you end up with a small list of a few assets, and I prototype them. If the prototype matches what I thought it would be like, and I'm happy with the result, then I basically spend several months polishing it, and then eventually I release it. And what you see on this list here is the final result of that.
And you've got a load of free stuff in here as well. You've got lean pull, lean transition, lean localization, lean GUI, and there's a lot of leaning going on.
Yeah, there's a story behind this. I was doing a freelance project, and I needed like a touch input. It was for mobile devices, and I was looking at the existing assets, and well, I don't really want to name and shame them, but at the time, the most popular one, I bought it for this freelance project, and because all the reviews were like 5 stars saying, wow, this is really good, it's so easy to use and everything. I was like, wow, this is the perfect asset. I'll just use this for the freelance project. And then I get it, and it's like terrible. Like it has typos in the actual, like the field names and properties. They will have typos in. It's just really convoluted to use. The demo scenes are bad. I'm like, wow, how is this the #1 like mobile touch input asset? So I decided to make Lean Touch, and this implements all of the features of that really good, supposedly good asset, and adds some extra features, and then I released it for free.
You know, you're going to make me ask you in a DM later who it is.
Uh-huh.
So that you,
sure, yeah.
So you tell me who it is.
Well, there's only a few touch assets, and only a few of them still exist. So.
And that other one still exists?
No, well, it still exists, but it's been abandoned for some reason.
Because you came along, and you've got
some competitors just displaced them for some.
You've got 280 user reviews, but 488 user ratings. It's free. Yeah. I'm gonna guess you probably had about 5,000 downloads. How many? Can you see how many downloads of your asset you've had?
Well, I can see the amount of downloads I get each month, which technically isn't the amount of unique users, because if I release an update, then if they download the update, then it counts as a new download. So it's kind of hard to track exactly how many people are using it. But every month I'm getting about 2,000 downloads for this.
2,000 downloads a month. And how often are you updating it?
Once or twice a month. I don't know. Depends what kind of issues people find.
Crazy. You're updating this once or twice a month. So you're actively working, updating this free asset.
Yeah. Is that shocking?
It is shocking.
Okay.
And you've got a paid version. So is this all just a trick to get us in the door, and then we download it and it has all of the features removed, and you go, haha, you got to buy the paid version.
Well, that would be a good strategy, but actually the free version of Lean Touch, in terms of the base code, it's exactly the same as the paid version, except the paid version has more demo scenes and a few more advanced components. So if you're good at coding, the free version of Lean Touch is perfect. You just install it, and then using the API, you can easily handle like cross-platform touch and stuff. But if you are more advanced and you I mean, if you want more advanced features, but you don't want to code, or
You're lazy, man.
you want to see, yeah, you're lazy, then you can get
You
Lean
can
Touch
say
Plus.
You can say it, man. Don't be shy. Lazy people can pay €12.51 currently because it's on sale,
exactly.
and they get the demos in. If you're not too lazy and you want to save yourself €13 or $15, whatever it is, then you just get the free version. I'm in that lazy bracket.
There's actually a third option. If you're cheap but you want lots of features, then you just send me an email like every few days saying, help, how do I do this? Help, and then...
Oh, wow, that's really cheeky. So do you get a lot of people who get the free one and then spam you with support requests?
Of course. That's how it works, right?
Oh, it's weird.
Isn't that called a choosing beggar?
Well, I'll be like, if you want support, you've got to go and get the paid version, because I'm not going to give you any custom support with the free version. Are you allowed to do that?
Well, that's the basic way to make money, but the more advanced way that I use is in the documentation I say, if you request a feature that doesn't exist in Lean Touch Plus, then I will implement it and I'll give you a free copy of it. So as long as the request isn't something really basic, then they will basically get a free copy of it. You're all of the demo scenes...
How are you a full-time asset developer earning any money? I don't know. You're giving everything away for free.
Well, no, because the free version only has basic stuff, like you can move an object on the screen, or you can select objects and stuff. But there's no like like drawing gesture recognition, or I don't know, moving dials, that kind of stuff. So when people request that, and I'm like, wow, that's a cool idea that I haven't added yet, then I add it and I give them a free version, and then that increases the value of the paid version for the next customer, basically.
Do you know what I would do? I would go, thank you for your feedback. Here's a copy of the free version as a gift. and then send them a smiley emoji and go on my way.
Well, if you want to get lots of one-star reviews, then that's a good strategy.
And I mean, even the paid version, you've got 91 reviews, 108 user ratings, 108. You got 106 of those are 5-star. Oh, brilliant! You've got a 1-star. Let's have a look. What's the 1-star say? He didn't even write anything. He didn't even write, or he or she, they didn't even write anything. They just left you a 1-star review. And generally, I'm going to say it's a guy. Women would write you something. One finger problem. Hi, how can I use one finger to rotate? I can only use one or three buttons only, but not one. Help. I answered by email. Please reserve the review section for review. Oh, wow. You just laid the smackdown on that person.
Well, this person, they sent me an email and they wrote this review at the same time. Like, what the hell? They didn't even give me a chance to, like, respond. And it's not like they found a problem. They're just asking for a new feature.
And they gave you 3 stars on it as well.
But I did add that feature after they asked that, so...
Do you know what you need to do? Update your reply so everyone who reads this can know that this feature exists in there. Say, hi, this feature is in the version. Please, can you update your review? And that way, everyone looks at it and goes, yeah, he's right. You know, asset publishers, he's done it. Why hasn't this person updated his review? Because at the moment, it looks like your reply is basically saying, see this finger. Would you like your one finger that you've got a problem? Which choose a finger on my hand, and that's the finger that I'm going to use to rotate. That's my advice. I think that's the only advice I can give, because at the moment I'm just learning so much. You're writing it. You're doing it now as we're talking, aren't you? Exactly. I want to see how long it takes.
All right, refresh the page.
Refresh. Let's do it. Oh wow, he's quick. Let's click it. Edit this feature. This feature has now been added. Oh, it's typos all over the place. So just like some dodgy assets out there with typos in their code.
Exactly. You have to pay me like extra €14 to get the typo fixed.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have a heart attack. So I'm gonna play. You very generously gifted me a copy of Lean Touch Plus. Because I get spammed a lot in the Discord by people asking questions about, have I tried any mobile input systems? What should I use for mobile input? And I have not done anything other than the standard Unity for, like, that you've got in there.
Oh, the input.touches.
Yeah.
Manually doing it. It's pretty tedious.
It is. And I didn't realise that the Lean Touch was free until a while back, and I spammed it in the Discord before I spoke to you. And
so you didn't even try it?
I'm going to.
What if it's really bad, like the previous asset I mentioned?
No, because it was free. I was just people. It was like, I was spamming it, going, "Look, this is free," and it says it's got touch for mobile. Try it out. Let me know if it works. Because that's, as I told you, how lazy I am. I've used the Discord. It's like, this is free. Everyone who was asking for mobile stuff, try it out. Let me know.
You need to change your name. The lazy
coder. There's somebody who already was out there. They beat me to it.
Okay.
So, and do you know what lazy coder implies? Lazy coder implies good coder, because good developers are lazy developers. And they'll look at it and they'll go, "Oh, lazy coder, that's really funny. That guy must be really good because he's a lazy coder." And then they'll look at my stuff and go, "Wow, this is really messy and bad. That's not lazy at all. That's just a messy."
But also, it could mean like messy hair, like in your picture, it looks maybe slightly like Einstein. It could be like messy hair, like you're so genius. You're so genius that
it
can't be bothered to style your hair.
These are lovely comparisons that I embrace.
There's just no way to get around it. You have to like change your name to the worst coder on the planet. No, seriously.
I love that. Comma. No, seriously. So true. I honestly feel like you've been watching a lot of my tutorials at this point.
When you open it, you should go to the root folder. It's like called guide, and then there's a bunch of links in there.
Ah, here you go. Oh, here it is. Guide. Oh,
Read
there you go.
Documentation. Oh my god.
Because I went into documentation and was like, what is this? What is this gibberish that's appeared in here? This looks like minified CSS. Oh, what is this? And then now if I go here, it makes much more sense. That's nice. There you go.
Well, I like the HTML because I can just pretty much easily auto-generate it, but I don't know how to auto-generate like a PDF file. I'm not that good at coding, so...
You're not that good at coding, says
exactly.
the asset store publisher who makes code assets.
Exactly. So that's why I made it HTML. But the problem with Unity is, at least on my machine, whenever I double-click an HTML file, it just opens it like in a text editor or something. Like it opens it in Visual Studio. And it just shows the code. It doesn't actually open the HTML file like in a browser. So that's why I made this guide thing. So when you click like the documentation button in the inspector, it's gonna load it through the browser instead of
I love that.
using Unity's default.
This is nice.
Yeah. Plus, it also allows me to add other buttons there, like the email link or my website link. So, in my opinion, this is superior to just using like a PDF file or something.
And if I click play, hang on, let me make sure it's not on maximize.
There's going to be tons of errors.
Is there going to be tons of errors?
No.
Because I haven't read any of your documentation.
Oh, okay. Don't worry, nobody does. So.
That's the whole point, isn't it?
And also this demo scene, nobody reads it. You see, if you paint here, you're going to get some seams between the edges. All right?
And people send you a message going,
yes,
seams.
Yeah, they're like, help, how do I remove the seams? And I'm like, try demo scene 2 where I explain how to remove the seams.
So this shows you how the spaceship game object can be made paintable. This is done by adding the P3D paintable P3D material cloner and the P3D paintable texture components. That just reminds me of Painter 3D.
Yeah, is
that where you've stole it from?
That's the abbreviation P3D. What do you mean?
Are you too young to remember Painter 3D?
Painter 3D? I don't know what that is.
Oh my god, you're too young.
Tell me, Grumps, what is this?
It literally is this, like you're doing here.
Oh, really?
Okay. And I know if anyone bought it afterwards. So you'd sit and you'd paint in 3D, and then go
Oh.
bib, and it'll export your UV maps and stuff.
Oh, really?
I
I've
like
never heard
that
of
Lean
this.
Touch Plus asset has a video showing its features, but I don't see a video for how to use it. Exactly.
That's one criticism I get. I don't have like any videos, like video tutorials or stuff. Well, I do have a few, but I don't like making them. That's the reason why.
It would force you to get out of your pajamas.
Exactly. Well, no, because I wouldn't have to show my face. But well,
3
I
stars.
hate making.
Which was your 3 stars. And he had a typo in one of his comments. Typo in a reply on the Asset Store review section. 2 stars.
Exactly. Uninstalled. Yeah, well, the problem with videos is they quickly become out of date because I like changing the features. So if I say in the video, click here, and then it does this, and then next month I change that, then the video is suddenly useless because
Yeah, normally
if
I'd be
something
like,
changes,
it
then
doesn't
nobody
matter.
knows what.
But you just said you update 2 or 3 times a month.
Well, yeah. Well, it depends on what I update, but if I make, let's say 100 tutorial videos and I change some settings, then suddenly several videos are out of date. Well, that's one of the issues. Another issue is the apartment where I live, not right now, is really echoey. And I recently got a headset, so that's a bit better. But previously, I only had a condenser desk-mounted microphone, and that picks up everything. So
Oh.
every time I talk, it's like hello, 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 hello. In this video, like that. So, so I was like, wow, this sounds terrible. I can't possibly publish this. And plus, I always make mistakes. You know, I'm doing the tutorial and like 5 minutes in, like there's an error or something, I misclick and then I have to go back. So I hate it in videos when like the person makes a mistake and they're like, oh, let's find this problem, and then they like backtrack 5 minutes and then you have no clue what's going on basically. So I tried to do it in one take.
Lazy video creators. You'd never see me doing that. Don't watch any of my videos.
Exactly. And I don't like doing jump cuts either. So basically, I just re-record it, and then so a 10-minute video takes all day to do. So I hate doing videos.
People don't appreciate that. It takes bloody ages. I mean, I did a video the other day of it was the deer, GIM's deer. That video,
Okay.
it's like I think it was like 20 minutes long video. That took me about 4 hours to make. That one video. Because literally, it was like.
And you talk all the time, so.
And I talk exactly, and I'm doing it.
Much easier for you compared to me. I basically don't make videos or anything. So.
Most of the time when I'm talking, I'm screaming at children. Wash your hands. You've just done a poo. Wash your hands. Take that out of your mouth. Take that out of your brother's mouth. Which doesn't really work well on the video. And a lot of times, I would actually do a video like half an hour doing my video, and then you can hear, "Daddy, I've done a poo. Can you help me?" And I'll be like, okay. And then I would redo the entire half an hour video because, like yourself, I don't want to edit it. I'm going to redo the whole thing.
Right.
That's it. Reading the whole thing. It's ruined. You've ruined the moment. I'm redoing everything again. And I would love to do one with Lean Touch, and I'm sitting there doing it and going, okay, that's it. I'm redoing it, and as I redo
it's
it, update
only if you
comes
promise
up.
to include the poo statement. Like,
Oh, exactly.
I've done a poo,
video.
but you have to include that.
I'll be okay. I'm going to redo the video now, and as I go to redo it, you've just pushed another update live, like halfway through. Because
your video is useless.
Exactly, the video now is. I've just spent all that time doing it, and it's completely useless by the time I finish publishing.
Then they're gonna downvote your video and stuff.
I'm sitting here, and it says here, drag, click plus drag equals paint.
Yeah. This works on mobile as well, and you can drag your finger across the screen.
Because I was going to say, what do you mean by drag? Because I'm just doing that. Let's drag it.
I didn't want to make it too verbose, but I guess I could say finger drag to make it more clear.
Or touch.
I guess, but
with a wink.
When I hear the word touch, it makes me think of just like tapping, but I don't know.
When I hear the word touch, it makes me think lots of things, Carlos.
Oh, I see.
Do you know what upsets me with this demo?
What?
There's no undo.
Oh, there is. Not on this. This is the 01 basic setup
Exactly.
demo scene.
This is like this
Come
is like
on,
super
come on.
basic. All right, let's go into.
I'm
number 2.
introducing features. I try to introduce the features one at a time.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Control Z.
So that's
Control
the
Z.
basics. So in that demo scene, that was just the basic setup, which requires 3 components. So unfortunately, that's not one thing at a time. But this one, for example, introduces how to fix the seams.
Okay, so this shows you how to remove painting seams from your mesh using Seam Fixer tool. By the way, in chat, Amazing Bell, hello, Amazing Bell. Wizards Don't Code wants to just set to audio only, mainly because, don't take it personally, Carlos. It's not that he's upset by your assets. It's that I tend to get used as a podcast, which makes demoing assets so much fun.
Yeah,
I've had
you have to describe what you see visually.
And this is a bizarre thing. I've actually had to learn a skill of, and you'll be like, why is he describing what we're doing? It's because Messy Coder Stream is for visually impaired and visually lazy people.
Okay.
So there you go. If you and for people like Wizards Don't Code, I'm looking now at 2 spaceships. One on the left says normal mesh, and the one on the right says fixed seams. I'm assuming that the one on the right has the fixed seams using Seam Fixer tool. Seam Fixer, can I use that on is that like only going to work in Painter 3D, or has that got magical powers that could be used outside of this painting tool?
Well, you can use it on any mesh, even if you don't use Paint in 3D, but since without Paint in 3D you're not going to be able to paint your mesh, there's no seams to be fixed, so there's no point basically.
Where is this? Spaceship on the right. I clicked on the right, it says spaceship right. I don't see...
What do you just press play?
I want to see the script that says Seam Fixer.
What?
Where is this?
Double click the mesh. Select the spaceship right, and then double click the mesh filter mesh.
Double click the mesh. The which what?
The mesh filter mesh. Double click it, and
mesh.
the mesh filter component has a mesh setting. Double click on it, and in your project view, you're going to have the selected mesh, and the parent of that is the Seam Fixer tool. Have you never used Unity before?
No, I've never used Unity before. Seam Fixer spaceship.
Yeah, so this is the tool. You just set your mesh in the source field and then click generate, done. So now in your mesh filter, you just swap the mesh with the seam fixed one if you want fixed seams, and then.
So if I've got other, because I've got meshes which I've got seam problems.
What? But these are seams that are only fixed when you're painting. It's not like fixing holes in the mesh or anything like that. It's
No,
only
but
when
it's
you're
just
painting.
gonna like I've got other stuff like that video that I sent you the link of those rocks where he had grotesque seams on his textures.
Right, but that's because of bad UV mapping and bad texturing.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't a magic tool. It's not going to fix that.
Oh, I was getting really excited by your Seam Fixer.
Yeah, that's going to be a new asset that fix your terrible mesh.
Oh man, I would pay a lot of money for the asset that basically is fix this mesh that lazy asset store publisher sold you a bad mesh model for. That I would be well up for that. Amazing Bells, can you please give me in a nutshell what I'm looking at? I will show you. This is in runtime. You know what? Let's make it big. I've got a normal mesh, another one here. So I'm going to draw in runtime. There you go. Now, can I output these in runtime as textures though?
Yes. If you go to the Window tab, there's a setting called Paint in 3D, and then there should be an export button next to the texture. But as with all of my emails that I do from mobile, the disclaimer is, if I remember off the top of my head, then this is how it works.
This texture has no undo redo set, so you cannot undo redo. This texture has not been exported yet, so you cannot export all.
So you see there's an export button to the right of the texture.
Okay, I can save that.
and then you can just save that to your computer.
And then what's this one? Export the left one. So now, though, can I do this? Oh, ooh,
What?
it's grey. My ball's gone grey.
What? What's going on?
I broke it. I broke it.
You broke it. You
I
broke it.
broke
Oh my god.
it. Ah.
Apparently, exporting textures breaks the painting ability, so don't do that.
What do we say? Hold up. Do you know what to recreate the bug?
Do you have one of those?
No. Carlos, what do you think the bug is?
What do you mean? You want me to seriously debug it? I mean, I can pretty much guess what the problem is.
Right, so how do you replicate the bug? Not by exporting the textures, by changing if it's minimized or maximized. So in runtime, I was changing that I was minimized and maximized. And that now, I'm in the minimize out of maximize, and I've gone to having a grey splat.
Wait, so that broke it? It wasn't the export?
It wasn't the export.
Oh, okay.
And now, I've got my ball back.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why would that break it? I don't know. I'll have to debug that.
Luckily,
for now, I'll make a mental note that this is your problem. It's not my code until I check.
Well, I was about to say, would this be an issue in a build? Now the question would come out: does this issue persist if the build is going from windowed mode to full screen mode? Mate, I doubt.
You see, that's the kind of feedback you would love to get, but in reality, what I get in an email is "Help, painting doesn't work," and then I reply like, "Which version are you using? Which version of Unity are you using? And can you send me a picture or video?" And then they just send me like the worst picture of like just the paint broken. I'm like, okay, which component did you use? Like, give me some information. Come on. And then it's like
customers are amazing. I'm just like, customers are fantastic.
And then the best is like, I just like they're completely useless. I'm like, okay, can you just send me your project? And they're like, okay, and it's like 2 terabytes or something.
Oh
like,
wow.
And then I test it and it works fine. So that sometimes happens. Like, wow.
Robert was asking, what kind of textures could you use at featured paint on? Like, could you paint a tattoo on an NPC? Wonderful scenario.
You can paint any kind of textures. In this example, you're only painting albedo, but you can also paint normals at the same time, or illumination textures, or whatever you like. And you can paint tattoos on an NPC, like skinned meshes. You can paint static meshes like this, or whatever.
I was like, you've got like 1 or 2 or 3 demos in here?
Yeah,
Scroll
if you go
down.
to the bottom, I have the zombie blood demo scene.
79 demos of your painting 3D only, and then you've gone out. You got so bored of numbering them, you just started.
No.
Is that how
The numbered ones are basically tutorials that take you through each feature specifically, and the non-numbered ones combine multiple features, and then it's more of a cool demo scene, I guess.
All right. So where's it got a zombie?
It's not numbered. It's at the bottom.
Oh, it would be Z for zombie then.
Yes, which is at the end of the alphabet. Yes.
Glad that living in Japan, you have remained.
So this is a skinned mesh, and you can just click the mouse, and it's gonna paint on that.
Is it always the same pattern, or?
This uses one texture, but it's randomly rotated. But you can add a paint modifier, and then you can add like a list of different textures, and it's going to randomly pick between them. You can also make it pick between different textures based on the pressure if you're using like a touch device that supports pressure.
Oh. What about on different, like the bone wouldn't splat blood, but the leg would?
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, you can. Well, not in this demo scene, but you can set up different layers, and you can do different paint groups as well. But you have to split up the mesh. This skin mesh is just one single mesh with no sub meshes, so you can't do that.
I have to say that it doesn't look too much like blood at this point, but it just looks like I'm throwing lots of poo at him.
I don't know. Just ask your son if this is accurate or not. I'm not
I
sure.
tell you, as a father, I can tell you it's accurate, mate. I don't need to ask him. Right? I've dealt enough with poop. Well, this shows you how particle collision painting can be used to apply dirt to a car as its wheel.
Oh,
As its
another
wheel.
type.
Oh my! And
Wheel.
I
Cool
just,
whip.
Wheel. I just hope there's no typos in your code after what you said at the beginning of this one.
I don't know. Maybe.
Just drank my tea down the wrong hole.
I mean, my comments in the code definitely have typos, but the code itself, like the identifiers, I don't know.
Oh,
I hope
so it's like, look, this dirt is getting applied to it from the smoke.
Yeah. So somebody asked me, like, does this asset feature this? So I added it. That's the story of all my demo scenes, basically.
In chat, what?
What?
Fresh meat's got to run. Fresh meat. We haven't even started. We're just looking at one of 79. Well, one of like 92 demos on Painting 3D. How much?
Yeah, we're going to be here all day.
Exactly, we're going to be here for about 6 hours. It's all right for you. It's the morning for you. It's nearly 11 o'clock. For you.
Yeah.
How much?
Move to Japan. No problem.
I will. I'll move next week. How much damage is this doing to my game though? Like, how much memory, how much processing is this using up?
You only need a RTX 3080 to run this at least 10 FPS, so it's not a problem.
You know, people hear that and they'll take that you thing serious.
Well, the painting is applied to the texture of the mesh, so there's actually no performance impact, basically.
But while it's painting it, I mean, the logic of it needing to...
Applying the paint itself has some overhead, but it's done on the GPU, and it's pretty quick. So.
But would this work on a mobile? We were having this chat the other day, actually, yesterday's stream, about can you offload to the GPU on a mobile?
Yeah.
What about assets that rely on that? So, have you tried doing this on a mobile device?
Of course. But I usually don't test it that much, actually.
You've got like the most fancy, powerful mobiles in the world in Japan.
What? What are you talking about? The fancy Japanese phones that nobody uses. Only Japanese people use them. So they're like pretty old school.
Everyone else has gone over to the Korean stuff.
Yeah. Or the Chinese or the American stuff.
VR pen. Oh, this is what I loved in your demo. I don't have my VR headset on. So you could actually do VR Pictionary.
It doesn't require a VR headset.
Have you got a demo of this working with multiplayer?
Nope.
See, this is what
some people requested that. But the thing is, this asset is focused on painting. So when people ask me like, "Can you implement multiplayer or whatever?" I'm like, I could, but I'd rather not.
How would I?
Because at least.
So go on.
Yeah, well, with Unity, networking is quite tedious because every time they introduce a new networking, I don't know, feature, they suddenly deprecate it the next week, and then everybody's like, "Help! What do I use?" So I'm just staying out of that. I'd rather avoid this.
Pun or you know, MLAPI or Mirror.
Exactly.
Which one would you support?
Right.
There was a DDoS attack on Amazon servers earlier today. Maybe something to do that. No, it was to do with
I can see the video now.
Network cable getting pulled out of the second PC with his long, sexy legs. There you go. And I'll draw a representation of what that looked like here. What's this? Swap the pen. Okay, swap the pen.
Oh.
Wow, it's awesome. So it looks something like this. There's me sitting at the desk.
Okay.
It's really awkward because I think where the pen is going to be, and you know, because where it's hovering, and the shadow Would look like a little raycast, little dot or something would make it. So there's my chair. And obviously, because I've got a fancy chair now, here's my neck rest.
So they're both you, the red one and the purple?
No, that was you.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah,
Like, which one's me?
that's this one here, the red one.
I think.
Because you're like really happy.
What's that on the chest? Is that my muscular pecs?
That's your muscular pecs, or what you've been spending a lot of that
Okay.
money in Japan.
Of course.
At least we have audio now. Wizards would be happy. Have you just if you're wondering, just refresh your screen. And if I change now to the other one, so my computer. There you go. There's the computer. That's the keyboard. And then there's all the cables.
This is very close to being an inappropriate drawing.
There you go. And then the lever leg went whee like that. And that's actually a lot like I was going to say, very much like how my legs go, but also how the deer model, that animation of the deer that I reviewed on YouTube the other day went. Guess I need to rejoin. Yes, just refresh. He's got a bad case of. That's a chair. That's the chair headrest.
Headrest? I don't have a headrest.
There. No, you need a chest rest of that there. That's what you need. And on that note, I'm closing that note. Oh, there was a blue pen as well. I didn't even get to use the blue pen.
Yeah, run it again.
You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like.
Yeah, so you have your network cables just in front of your feet. That's a really good setup.
Yeah, and this is a great. I mean, it feels a little bit laggy on the responsive, but I've never seen a VR. Oh, because I've only got my VR headset the other day. I'm waiting to get my glasses so I can actually use it without vomiting. Well, this opens up loads of ideas. This is what I said on the stream yesterday. VR Pictionary. I want to do a Pictionary game.
Yeah, you can network the painting fairly easily. Like every time the paint is applied, there's an event that tells you the position, rotation, and stuff, and you can just send that over the network. And then when it's received, you can submit the paint using those same settings. Of course, that does make the paint go out of sync if the object is moving or something like that. But you can fix that by syncing the whole texture itself, which is kind of slow, but you don't have to do that all the time. So there are different strategies you can use.
I'd have to do it
covered in the documentation.
On this, like a static whiteboard.
Yeah, that's almost perfect. Except if people paint over the same area, then the draw order matters.
Ah, so that'll be another thing. The Pictionary would be one at a time.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be. Like I said, you can just sync the whole texture periodically, and it's going to fix that.
Well, you do it one at a time on picture, because if you had two teams, like one whiteboard each, and they'll be like, you got 30 seconds. What is it? It's a cloud, like that, whatever. And then the person's in that, you'd go like that all over their one to put their team off, wouldn't you?
Well, maybe that makes it more interesting because you have different colors, right? And you can just try messing up their drawing and stuff.
What?
I'm giving you genius gameplay ideas here.
See, that would probably make it fun in that regard, but it would just annoy me as a player. I'd be like, get off! What are you doing joining on my side? And then I'd stop playing my own game because I'd just get trolled in my own game.
But then you can add extra items like a gun or brick you can just throw at the other players, and then
or a whiteboard remover.
Yeah, you could just pick up the
a bleach spray. Where you
a bleach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can remove it with a spray can or something. That's another demo scene with a spray can.
Oh, there it is, spray can. Skybox painting as well.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So every time someone gives me a cool idea, like I want to paint the skybox, I think about it. How can I do that? And then I just add it, and then they're happy, and also it adds a new feature, so new customers are, I don't know, more likely to buy it, I guess.
Can I
So
add
this,
a
yeah.
blue? Oh, you don't have a yellow, but can I put a blue on top of the red and make purple?
like a
Oh, it is. Look, it's
color
making
mixing.
purple.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, it is. That's the color purple.
Yeah, well, they're not going to mix exactly like real paints, but yeah, I guess so.
Oh wow. Heavy machine guns for the Pictionary. That's a bit violent.
Well, that's how VR games work, right? You add a few cool things, and then you add more cool things, and eventually it's just a mess of random weapons and stuff.
Skybox Painting. So, have you made anything with your assets? Have you actually made a game?
No, I haven't. I want to, but I don't know. It's difficult.
What do you mean, getting the ideas or the time?
No, it's difficult to justify the time because I've made quite a lot of assets now, so I'm pretty confident that I can make money. I'm pretty confident how much money I can make with each asset and stuff. Whereas with a game, I haven't made a game in so long that it could be like $0 or something. So, am I going to risk spending months potentially making nothing, or I can just make another asset and then make more than that? So I don't know. It's difficult to justify the time. But yeah, I definitely want to make a game. Like I'm thinking of making like a space game using my other asset. But I don't know. It's difficult. Not the end. Oh, the simp. Oh, isn't that a banned word now? The Simpsons. Okay.
The simp. Oh my god.
You can cover it after the S with clouds.
I was already ahead of you. I already was ahead of you.
This is a new TV show.
There we go, and now we're going to get taken down. Someone's going to report that. Have we played about with the space? No, we just got too distracted with 3D. Painting 3D! Exclamation mark! Carlos Wilkes in chat.
So this is another demo scene somebody requested, and well, why did you deselect the tool?
Don't do anything. Is that? Am I selecting it? Oh, I've selected it now. So yellow. What does yellow do?
I'm not very good at making icons, so I just use the same icon and change the color, even though they do completely different things.
So this one's splatting on the shield.
They're just different textures, so like different impact effects.
And is this painting on, or is this using shaders? What's this one doing?
The shield is a mesh that's surrounding the spaceship itself, and then when the cube impacts the shield, it basically paints on the shield, and then the painted texture gradually fades over time.
Ooh.
So it creates like a, I don't know, like a shield effect, a dissipating impact shield effect.
We've got an event. Oh, what's that white? I'm getting a white. I'm not sure if you can see it.
A white what? Oh, that's
yeah,
that's a particle effect.
There's a big white around it there as I'm shooting.
Oh, that's when you spawn it. It spawns inside the camera. So depending on the exact frame rate,
there you go.
it like clips into the camera.
So
you're trying to find all these bugs?
I am trying to find bugs. That's what my job is. It's the point of you coming on. It's to give you a gift of bugs. Exclamation mark! Carlos in chat. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And if we've got now these hitting, am I getting an event that I could then call back and say the shields are going to be depleted, and then I can destroy the mesh?
You can do. When it impacts, it fires an event, and you could write a custom component that hooks into that same event and then do whatever. like damage the ship or something like that.
Yeah,
But those are like game-specific gameplay features.
yeah, as long as you got the event and that I can go be like, yeah, right, it got fired from, this weapon that fired it is going to be like,
well,
does
there's no
20
tracking
damage.
of which person fired it. That's game-specific code basically, but you have all of the building blocks there to implement that.
I'm going to do one. I'm going to have to do it. Put it on the spaceship and go, all right, shields on the spaceship, painting on there. And
There's also another demo scene where you can like cut holes into the spaceship.
I was going to ask you about if we could cut holes into the shield. Where's the cut holes?
I don't remember. Fireball holes.
Fireball holes? Oh.
Yeah, the demo scene called Fireball Holes.
So making holes here with this one and dents.
Yeah, it's similar to this.
So these are normals that we're painting with normals now to make the dents.
Yes.
See, I worked that out. I worked that out, Carlos. I'm a genius. And how's the holes then doing?
This uses a cutout shader, and the alpha is being subtracted.
So is this how your Destructibles 2D thing works?
It uses a similar principle, but this is done on the GPU, whereas Destructible 2D is done on the CPU. And the reason for that is, with Destructible 2D, I need to regenerate colliders every time you destroy stuff, and if all of the data is on the CPU, then it's really quick to access that. Whereas copying data from the GPU to the CPU is pretty slow. And with Painting 3D, you don't really need to access the data so often, so doing it on the GPU is much better.
Oh!
So in this scene, yeah, you can choose different tools. Yeah.
Oh wow! But now is this now still part of the same mesh, or is this now separated now? And I've cut it. Is it now going? Okay. Now
it's the same mesh, right? This isn't Rayfire. There's no breaking off of the wingtip or anything.
I was about to say, I thought you didn't have Destructible 3D.
Right. That's one limitation, I guess, but it's pretty difficult to detect when you've actually cut off the wing like this. So if you needed to do this in a game, what I recommend is placing like a dummy game object on the wing, and then when the fireball goes through it, you remove it, and then using something like a waypoint system, you can detect when the wing is no longer attached to the body, and then do whatever. But detecting that with the painted texture itself is pretty difficult because you have to check like millions of pixels.
Rock engraving. Oh, rock throwing. Oh, what are we going to do? Throwing rocks? Oh! Oh my word! I feel really bad about.
Have you seen the promotion? What is it, like the reveal video where Elon Musk throws the rocks at the Cybertruck?
No,
and
does it?
Smashes.
I heard about it.
Well, the windows are supposed to be like reinforced, and they're not supposed to like smash when you throw rocks at them.
And
so he
forgot
threw
to tell
two
him that it
rocks.
wasn't a real one.
Well, apparently they practiced beforehand, and that practice damaged the windows, and that's what caused it to smash on stage. So I was like, hey, that's cool. Let's make a demo scene of that.
Did you send it to him?
No.
You should do. You might get an invite on SpaceX.
Maybe.
It might be a one-way journey, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to have much of a sense of humour, does he? Let's be honest.
I made this demo scene. Give me a free car, please.
It probably gives
Is
him a
that,
free
did you draw
car. No, I didn't.
With
No.
nothing come out of it?
No.
No? Okay, no. That's just my mind.
It's where your mind went to.
I apologize.
I was going to ask you if we could actually do something a little bit more complicated, something that had transparency on, and your demo seeds read my mind. So
well,
we can
this
have,
isn't that complicated.
well, especially as you say that you're not very good at coding. Where did you learn all this stuff if you're not very good at coding?
I taught myself most of it. Well, I mean, this demo scene in particular isn't that complicated. I think the graffiti painting is much more complex than this.
Which one's the graffiti painting?
Uh,
Car decals?
it's one of the last numbered scenes,
Oh.
not the last one.
Low?
Reveal graffiti.
Oh,
the one below
the
it
one
will
that one that
counter.
has the word graffiti in its name. You can finally make the Christmas murder scene of your dreams. Exactly. I was drawing blood all over that lovely Christmas.
Well, the next scene, demo 71, is, I don't know. I guess it's quite complicated.
So it's revealing the texture underneath, or is it painting this texture?
Or it's both. It's painting, and your paint is basically replaced with the graffiti that has been previously designed.
So would I use this with? Can I use this with decals, or I'm not?
Yes. There's a demo scene called Decal Painting, I believe, that shows you how to do that.
Oh, what's this? Oops. Went into the last demo.
Yeah, this is the recently added. It's not really a feature, it's just a demo scene showing an existing feature.
Oh, I went into something and then I'm getting painted from going into stuff and out of stuff.
Yeah. So some people ask me how to make a game where you can like dip an object into something that can paint it. So for example, there's this popular mobile game where you can like dip your shoes into like a decal and it applies it. And this demo scene basically shows you how to do something like that.
I have no idea what that game is. That sounds awesome. That's
Yeah,
a nice effect.
well,
I know, it's lovely.
Yeah, most of the demo scenes are like that. People are like, hey, I found this cool mobile game. I want to copy it. How do I do this? And I'm like, okay, here's how you copy it.
You should, when you get those, you'd be like, I got a cool idea. Can I copy? You'd be like, no, you can't. It won't work. And then you just go and nick it and make the mobile game yourself.
Yeah, well, what I'm waiting for is people to say, hey, I have this cool idea for a game that doesn't exist yet. How do I do this or something? But usually it's just copying an existing game.
So I'm painting now with decals.
Yes.
What the duck?
So with this, you may notice that the duck shape is a bit weird. That's because you're painting at an angle. And there's a setting in the decal painting where the decal either faces the camera exactly. So it's, I don't know, it's like you're shining a torch with like the Batman logo or something onto the object. Or it rotates to the normal of the mesh underneath. And the setting is called wrapping, I believe.
Would that be on the paint decal thing on this?
Yeah, there's a setting called wrapping. And if you set that to 0, then the painting is going to match. It's going to match the direction that the paint was applied
there
in.
you go, yeah.
So you can, I don't know, there's so many settings you can control depending on exactly what you want it to look like. There's no like magic setting that gets the perfect settings for every single scenario.
So I mean, Big Game is just jumping into the question I was about to ask, we touched on earlier. Your window of paint in 3D where we can export, how do I do that one time from inside my game?
If you're using code, it's very easy. You can just access the paintable texture component, and then there's a method on there called, well, it depends on how you want to save it. If you just want to save it to player prefs, you can use the save method, but you can also use it's called something like get PNG data, and it just gives you a byte array of the PNG data, and you can like send that over the network or save it to a file or something.
Oh, lovely.
If you want to see more of my crazy videos, click on the left side of your screen now, and down below there's that big juicy subscribe button, and and right next to it is the magic bell that if you click it, it will tell you if I've got a new video coming out. Till next time.